When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ledlow, and enjoy today's episode.
There's got to be oversight on these courts, and the local level and the state level and the federal level. There's got to be oversight. And I think everybody is so used to getting away with murder. Who's going to question me? I'm the judge.
Right. And that's when the judge tells me it's not my duty to tell the person their rights. I said, it is your duty. Whose duty do you think it is? He said, it's the attorney's. I said, no, it's your duty.
Trier of the facts. The judge is the trier of the law.
Right. You're the finder of fact. You're the one that decides if a person loses their freedom and their property. And you don't think it's your duty to tell the person you have a right to a trial by jury before I take him property? In what other court would that be allowed? It wouldn't.
Right.
It wouldn't happen.
Sherry, here's a question. Is this done, these cases, are they before a jury or just between the attorneys and the judge? Or how does that look when you're going to a case? What case?
My son was denied a trial by jury in Arizona several times and in California. And denied, even though it is your constitutional right.
Yes.
To due process before your freedom or your assets are taken, your properties.
You denied a jury selection and jury hearing.
And the excuse the judge gave me was, well, it will back up the court and it will cost a lot of money. I said, well, number one, it doesn't cost the court money. It costs the victim money for the trial.
Absolutely.
It doesn't cost you, but you're taking their freedom away and their control of their property without any due process. That's against the law. It's against the Constitution. How do you justify that? I'm avidly livid about it because I saw it happen to my family. When you have to prove yourself innocent and people think these attorneys go in and admire every breath they take. It's outrageous. It truly is outrageous. We're told we can't go into court and lie. Okay, so everything we said, our attorneys said, okay, you have to prove it. Do you have documentation? Wait a minute. They're lying in the documents and they're lying in the courtroom, and we have to provide documented proof that we're telling the truth. There's something wrong with this picture. I was just outraged for 13 years. I could not believe what was happening to us and what was happening to other people. And it's hard for me to see families when they first started out. We were devastated, first of all, being attacked by family, distant family members and trustees that my husband thought he could trust. And it devastates you. It puts you in a state of shock and grief. And we're fighting to save our daughter's life. We're at the hospital 24/7. She's on life support. It was the most horrible time of our life. And then these people lied to our daughter. They kidnapped her from rehab, took her home, put 6 bodyguards on her and wouldn't allow us to see her. She would find a phone and call me and say, where's my cell phone? I didn't know the number. I just answered it because it's an unknown number. And she would say, they took my phone. They took all my house phones out. I don't know who these people are. Who are these people at the house? So we were supposed to take her out at rehab that day and take her home. But they got there first and kidnapped her and took her and put her under 6 bodyguards. And she still has a handler living with. She's not allowed to go anywhere alone. Don't allow her to see him, or even her twin brother. It's horrific what these people do to her.
Are they still alive or with us, or have they passed? Or
well, Michelle is alive. She's in California.
How old is she?
She's 50. Let's see.
She's of age. She's of age.
Right. But she does have permanent brain damage from the brain bleeds
Got
and
it. Okay.
procedures. And she's on some medications. And so when the judge here in Arizona, Judge Obervelig, asked her, Michelle, why aren't you seeing your family? And she said, and she pointed back at her attorney in California was here. And she pointed back at all of them. And she said, well, because they told me all these things. And the judge, it all came out in court. The judge said, I see what's going on here. And he said, if I told you none of this was true, would you want to see your family? And she said, of course, I love my family. And
wow. Holy crap.
It's horrible. Every time we would go, see her, she would run out and hug us and hi, Dad, hi, Sherry, hi, Brad. But then they will come and physically take her away, which I can't even explain the heartache.
People just get greedy out there, don't they?
They're so greedy, they don't mind, destroying another person. They don't care that Michelle loves her family, as long as they can control her pocketbook. And, that's not a way to live.
No. They're just venomous bloodsuckers out there. They see opportunity and they just, like a shark, just on that meat, going after that money. It's just
that's right.
Sickening.
It is. It truly is.
You just see the human nature when they see a little bit of money and they see opportunity, they just jump. It's just unfortunate.
Right. It is. It's very unfortunate. And, to us, our family was everything. And we were very private. We were very, protective. And to have trustees that you're supposed to be able to trust,
right?
Turn on your family for the sake of money. It truly is devastating. And the thing that hurts me the most is to see how people are treated when, for instance, there's another victim here. His name is John Morrow. And his estate's worth around $24 million. He's eccentric. His brother wanted control of the estate when their parents died. So his brother went to probate court, vexatious, wanted control, and he didn't get what he wanted. The judge appointed, an attorney, a fiduciary, a guardian. And John, has some health issues, but he also, he's not incompetent. He was found competent by 4 doctors. And the court decided to get rid of this really crooked psychiatrist here to do another evaluation. And he came forward and said, oh no, he has this and he has that, and he's mentally incompetent. And the judge is like, okay, well, he's incompetent. So everybody, now he lives in a tiny little home, group home. He gets an allowance every month, and he's not allowed to go anywhere. He's basically been kidnapped. He's a competent being, should be out living his life on his $24 million the way he chooses. And 4 of the psychiatrists told the court, and I have the transcript, he just needs a friend. He's depressed. He needs a friend. His mom and dad died. He's got depression. He needs a friend. He needs somebody that cares about him. And it broke my heart because, how many people are in that situation?
Probably millions.
Thousands. Driscoll and I could name them all. I have a list of people that are confident. One victim, they took her freedom, took over her large estate. Her attorney, when her husband died, saw the opportunity, goes to court and says she needs a conservator. She can't manage the estate. Or she was counting on her attorney for advice. So her attorney gets appointed. And then he has her put in a birth home down not far from my home here. And do you know what the reason for putting her in a group home? She didn't want to wear a bra and she wanted to eat ice cream.
Oh my God.
She's in her 60s. Okay, so that means
Leave her
you got to
alone.
watch out, because if you're an attorney or somebody that just wants to get control, doesn't like what you eat or doesn't like the way you dress, you may find yourself in a group home and losing your freedom and your assets. And then what the attorney did when her John's daughter tried to fight back, the attorney said, if you fight back, I'm going to have a guardian appointed over you. And the daughter tried to fight back. So the attorney went to court and had a guardian appointed over a 44-year-old woman and said, you can live in the family home if you learn to me, if you do what I say. And so now the attorney has control over the whole estate. The home is not far from here. It's a big home. This is what they do to people. And people are terrified. They're terrified because they get threatened. And I've talked to so many attorneys who, if they fight for their clients, like our attorneys did, they get threatened, they get disbarred. Several attorneys have been disbarred because they fought back using the law. So I'm a little confused. Maybe we need a different court, a people's court. I thought the court that we went to was supposed to be a people's court, but obviously it's
proven otherwise.
It's an organized crime ring that you have no rights.
Sherry, are you able to discuss your interaction with a certain celebrity that's out of LA that's a very known singer? Can you go into that on the podcast? I wasn't sure if you're able to share kind of that experience with that certain performer.
Yeah, I kind of rather not. I try to keep my family stuff private to protect my kids and my kids. And I've had an interesting life and learned a lot along the way, and I've seen corruption at its finest. And I really never thought that we would be going this way. I never thought I would be writing legislation. I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing, but for me, it's kind of a passion. I also, I own a celebration stem cell center where we process stem cells and culture cells for transplant. So saving lives has been my passion for the last 15 years. And now it's saving lives on a different level. It's trying to help people through tragic situations and just giving them hope, because once you got everything stripped away, I've had one victim here in town. He was a high executive in Intel, had some, sleeping issues where he couldn't sleep, went to the doctor for help. Next thing you know, he's in a mental ward because his ex-wife decided it was a great opportunity to strike. And it's not funny, but the way people do things amazes.
It's calculated.
It's calculated. It's heartless. I may not like my ex-husband, but I'll tell you what, I would never go out of my way to hurt someone. That's just not in my nature. But this guy, he told me he couldn't tell his story. I told him, I want you interviewed by the media. I want you to tell your story because it will help you to heal. And he said, I can't. It's too embarrassing.
That makes sense.
And he says, I was an executive at Intel, and I was, look at me. I'm talking about my story. I am trying to help you. I said, the best thing that can happen for you, though, is talk about your story and then become an advocate for others, because you're articulate, you're brilliant, you're so professional, and people need support. And so miraculously, I told my PR person, I said, set the interviews up. He's going. And he's like, because I am. And I said, we're going because we have to go. So we got him down to the station, to the studio, and he did a beautiful job. And then afterwards, the reporter says, okay, well, how are you connected? And and my PR person says, oh, well, this is Sherry Lund. And she goes, what do you know that name? And she goes, oh my God, we covered your story. And I said, you guys did. And she goes, I need to interview you right now. And I said, no, this is not the victims. I want you to interview victims. And she said, no, I need to interview you right now. Why are you doing this? And I said, because I'm not over my case. I still miss my daughter. I see her pictures in the house and with my kids, and your case isn't over. Your pain isn't over. I'm angry. I want people to know what these courts do to families. And I would be with my daughter on the holidays. You're always together. I said, you don't realize the depth of pain that people feel. And when you can't see your loved one, it's every day. I miss her laugh. I miss, and my kids, your kids miss each other. And, Brown misses his sister. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell people what's going on until somebody forces these judges to follow the law and uphold the rights of the people and stop destroying families. And, for us, yes, you could look at it's a lot of money, but to my husband and I and our family, the most important thing was each other.
Absolutely.
Don't separate us.
Money can't buy that.
Destroy our relationship with each other because you're grieving. So my message to people to work is, in your estate planning, there's something new that my husband did in 2018 because he knew his time was short and wanted to make sure that Brad was taken care of and protected. And he had an irrevocable power of attorney for all legal and financial done. And that included anything you want to put in there, you put it. If you've got trusts, you give somebody power of attorney over the trust, the finances, anything. I mean, you can put everything you want in there. But for us, my husband set it up so that people couldn't take advantage of Brad. And I've been Brad's power of attorney since 2004. And then when they did an irrevocable power of attorney, the courts have always acknowledged me as a consultant on the cases. And I've always sat up front with the attorneys. And then having the irrevocable power of attorney gives a little more power with the court because you can I actually talk to the judges.
Oh, wow.
If my attorney doesn't speak up and say, or Brad's, and say what they should have said, then I just said it. I'm a slate no. I can speak for myself and my son, and that's what we're going to do.
There you go.
And I think people need to know that when you're told, oh, you hire an attorney, you can't speak for yourself. There's no law that says you can't speak for yourself.
Correct.
It's crazy.
They're just a hired representative is all they are.
Right. I think they're just hired to do mostly. They should just be there to do the paperwork. And you defend yourself better than anyone, right?
Absolutely.
You know the facts better than me. And it's a game. So you watch how these attorneys operate, and they're just playing a game. So let's start another war over here and fight about this so we can do more paperwork and do more appeals. And it just explodes into all these different wars. It's crazy. So I tell people, please protect yourselves, because even though we set things up the way we did, to protect Brad, these people are going to fight to get to it.
It's proven. They've proven themselves over and over and over with all the cases that you have dealt with over time. And now you're advocating. What is the name of your organization that you help people with? You told me over the phone on our conference call. Forgot the name of that.
Okay. On Facebook, it's called Protect Liberty. And then we have a website that we're revamping right now, but it's Citizens Number 4 Clean Courts USA. So it's c4ccusa.org. And so we're going to be posting other stories. We have some documents there, press releases. We'll be posting more updated press releases. We'll be videotaping and interviewing victims and posting notes on the website. I think the podcasts are a great idea. We've been working with ABC 15 here locally. They did an expo on October 30th, the day the bills came on. They did the expo on one of the victims in honor of the bill, and that was very special. This victim is, a great young man who had a horrific auto accident. And Merrill Lynch said, you can't have your insurance money unless you have a guardian and conservator. And this is what the banks and this is what they're doing. And I'm telling you, it's wrong. It's wrong. David has gone out since his head injury. He has gotten 2 bachelor's and 1 master's degree. And his paperwork is articulate. He's been fighting back. And now they want to appoint a permanent, conservator to manage his money. And he's quite capable of appointing his own people. And this is what you've got to give people their freedom to make their own decisions. Right. And, the court just wants to keep it all with them, their little break. We want our people managing it so everybody can live off of it.
I see a pattern, banks and attorneys and judges.
Right. And fiduciaries. The fiduciary companies are licensed under the Supreme Court of the state.
Okay.
And so, they don't want any oversight at all. It's very interesting. So
that's crazy. It's a crazy world that I never knew existed until Chris introduced us and introduced me to you. I'm like, whoa, right. This is really going on behind the scenes. I'm like, dang. And this is a passion for you because you lived it through your own family. And you have a nonprofit. Is this a business for you to help, or you just do it out of the goodness of your heart? I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
I've consulted on some other cases, but
okay, fair enough.
I haven't charged people anything because they're in a position where they don't have access to their own money. So I couldn't even I would never ask for money. That just goes against who I am.
That's very generous of you to do that.
People just need advice, and they need to know that they're not alone. They're not alone. This is something that I've helped a lot of victims, like Deborah Driscoll. She didn't even have clothes to do an interview, Mark. She had 4 pieces of clothing hanging in her closet. And I said, let me help you find clothes for the interview. And she goes, I don't have any clothes. I said, what is your fiduciary spending your money on? And she said, she won't give me money for clothes. She said, I've seen her once in a whole year. But she sure charges her Harold $16,000, $17,000 a month.
What a ripoff.
So I went out, bought her clothes. I said, we're going to have a fashion show. Whatever you want to keep, you keep. Whatever you don't want, I'll take back. And so some of the victims that, we've become like family, a lot of us. They, I asked them to come and speak at the hearings at the Senate or the House, and everybody shows up. I mean, Everybody supports each other. We have about 60 people here in Arizona on our email list that we talk back and forth daily or several times a day. People will add what's happening and things like that. So I think when people have that support, they feel more empowered. And they know they're not alone, because it's a terrible thing to go through.
Yeah, it's a crazy world that I never knew really existed until Chris told me about it. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? I'm like, wow, this just blows my mind. But you're also very active in DC right now, working with different politicians to create awareness about this. And Chris is working on your behalf, writing some op-eds on this too, right?
Yes. Chris has been great. Luke has been great. I've had some great teams. I had a great team here in Arizona. I still am working with disability attorneys here in Arizona. We're working on some other things to protect the disability rights of people. Because you look at it, most veterans have a form of disability. And people who have, it could be a brain injury, like, David Reschke, or it could be that somebody's like Deborah Driscoll had a big falling out with her son, and she was very emotional, and she asked the fiduciary to pay her bills for a couple of months, and she ends up under losing her freedom and losing all of her assets. I mean, these people are competent to handle their own estates and their own business and their own personal lives. And when you tear families up like this, with these strangers coming in and disrupting everything, David has children. Leave these people alone. Let them control their own life. And if he wants to waste his money, it's there's money. This is what it just floors me. So it's okay for these people to steal your estate, but it's not okay for you to use your money the way you want. And if you want to waste it, like Judge Overfiller told my son, he said, Brad, if you want to take your money and put it out in the middle of the street and walk away, it's your money. You do with what you want. And I was sitting there going, after 6 years of hell, we have a judge that gets it.
Yeah.
This is not okay. And he said, if you want to go buy a Learjet, let it sit in the hangar for just 40 years. That's your money.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Right.
But these judges say, we're worried that your money may be wasted, so we're going to take control of it. We're worried that somebody may take advantage of you, so we're going to take control of your assets. I think we've got to have some heavy-duty help in Washington.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need some politicians. I know you're working with a few politicians. I'm not going to name names at this point on this podcast, but Chris is very connected and helping Sherry make some great connections in DC as we speak.
Yes, we're talking to people every day. I'm working with, the representatives in the Judiciary Committee here, on the committee here in Arizona, House and in Senate. I'm trying to do things because things do get so political, and people want to make deals and things. I don't make deals. I'm just here to protect the rights of people, and I'm not going to budge. It's our rights are our rights, and we're not allowing you to take them away. So I pretty much, I've gone up against some pretty tough people, and they and when you're threatening their livelihood, the judges and the attorneys and fiduciaries, they get very angry. When
I'm sure they come out swinging hard.
They do come out swinging hard, and they want to keep this little secret over here, and they don't want anybody overseeing them, and they don't want anyone talking about what they're doing. So when they, went up against me on the bill, I said, please get up in the hearings and oppose the bill. And my team was like, what are you doing? I said, well, they're just going to go up and show the Judiciary Committee that they're the predators. I mean, go ahead. let them go up and oppose the bill because they'll be admitting they're part of the problem. I'm fine with that. And that's exactly what happened. Because there were a couple of fiduciaries who are also attorneys that got up and opposed, and they need to go to prison. I mean, I have case files that it's horrifying what these people are getting by with. So I would like to see an investigation. All this one being working on in Arizona and Washington is to get investigations, because I know that every case they investigate, they will find laws are being broken, rights are being violated from the beginning of the case, and assets have been stolen. I've asked the judges, the attorneys, who pays for the damages? You? The state? Who pays for the damages for the crimes you committed against? Who pays those damages? And they all sit there and just won't say a word. So, if they're not breaking the law and violating people and benefiting financially, then defend yourself. They don't. So I tell all my friends, I'm on them all the time, get your estate planning done, especially this and this and this, and do it this way. So we're also going to come out with a program online on our website where people can go on and prepare their own documents. And the company that has the program has also put the choice of, like revocable or irrevocable, so that you can make your trust or your directives revocable or irrevocable. And also put in, do you want to be a trustee of your trust? Absolutely. You always want to be a trustee on your own trust.
Okay. Good advice.
I have people coming to me saying, oh, my attorney said I couldn't be a trustee, that they would be the trustee. I said, oh my gosh, that's self-dealing. No, you don't want them to be a trustee. So I hear all kinds of things. I help people every day with their kind of things. And I just thought they could protect yourself and your family. That's
especially if you live in left-leaning states where the state is pro-government versus pro-individual. Like that's one of the reasons why I'm going to move my company from Oregon to Texas eventually. I'm like, hey, I don't want to risk it. If I build a good company, I need to set up a probably irrevocable trust, or you said irrevocable power of attorney. I didn't know there's such a thing, but now I do from this podcast. So you just got to talk to somebody that knows their legal paperwork.
Right. And, I'm from Texas, and, I've even been telling my whole family that you have to get your estate in order.
Got to.
But yeah.
Good advice for the listeners, especially the ones that I know I have a lot of listeners on the show that own businesses and they own security companies. And some listeners work with the C-suite executives of many Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. So they're probably listening in this going, holy crap, I didn't ever think about this.
No, you don't. Until it's too late. All right.
Yeah, to go to the hospital. Like my sister has a power of attorney for me, just a power of attorney. Like if I ever mentally incapable, she has that power of attorney to, deal with my stuff. If I'm in the hospital, I'm not conscious. So she's got that in file. But now I know I got to set up an irrevocable power of attorney probably and irrevocable trust for my company, my mini companies. So one of those things you got to do. Otherwise the state will take advantage of you.
Yeah. And, when the hospitals go into the guardianship and conservatorship business, you have to worry. Because when you go in the hospital, they will ask, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
They will ask you if you have your directives.
Retroactive?
No, your directives.
Oh, the directives. Yes, right.
So, and I always tell people, do not give them a copy because they're the last people you want to have a copy of your directives.
Interesting. Never thought about that. I know when my dad was fighting brain cancer, that's the first thing they wanted. They wanted a copy of the directives, the power of attorney.
Oh, right.
Because we're in and out of hospitals all the time.
Right. And when you don't have one, if they see that you have assets or think you have assets, that's when they can call Adult Protective Services and you suddenly find your life over. Right.
Oh, yeah. They don't play.
No.
They see opportunity, they go for it. They're like little snakes and vultures.
They are. Simply are. So if you need any help, let me know.
Offline, yes, I will be.
Yeah.
Got to protect yourself, folks. And Sherry knows how to do this. And you can find Sherry on LinkedIn as well, Sherry Lund. And your Facebook, are you on your Facebook too, right, Sherry? On social media?
I am.
Okay. So please feel free to reach out to her for any advice. And I certainly will be, I got some moves I got to make before the year is over. And I got some legal documentation I got to get set up before 2024 hits.
Right. Well, get it done because you never know.
You never do.
Oh, you never know.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you on the show, Sherry. And
thank you.
Do you have any parting words you want to give to the audience before we wrap up the show?
Well, just, keep your family close. And if you have a dispute in a family, don't go to probate court because the person who gets hurt the most is the person that you're exposing to the probate court. And then your family is torn apart. So, out of vindictiveness, don't go to the probate court or greed. Don't go. Don't hurt your family. It's horrible what happens to the family. And then if they're taken over in other states, even Arizona, when the fiduciary or the guardian won't give the family a visitation, you are breaking the heart of your family. And so I think people need to stop and think before they take selfish action. Because no one wins. But the attorneys
win and injustices.
Right. But thank you, Mark, and good luck. And we can never give you updates and it wants to do that.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you on the show again down the road and see how things are going in Washington, D.C. for you guys. And for the audience listening, this is Mark Ledlow with the Fearless Mindset Podcast with Sherry Lund. She's discussing her experiences with the Disney family, which she was a part of, and those situations in the courts. And listen to the podcast and you'll figure out what that was all about. And this podcast is brought to you by Ledlow Security Group. And we provide executive protection and security protection for those who need it. And we don't discriminate. Everybody needs protection. And you can find this podcast also on YouTube. Please subscribe and follow and like on the YouTube channel. And you can also give us a 5-star rating on all the podcast platforms. Just type in the Fearless Mindset Podcast. And Sherry is definitely fearless in how she approaches life, and her friends and those who are close to her. She's definitely a protector as well. And what she does is she doesn't have to be a bodyguard, but she's still a protector of people. And we appreciate what she does for people out there in her heart. They give the people knowledge that they don't know about and how they can protect themselves with the judicial system. With that said, we'll wrap up the show and we'll see you on the next episode of the Fearless Mindset Podcast. See you soon, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.